Hey guys, Jam here. Welcome back to another video. And in this one, I'm going to attempt to paint a Howling Griffon Space Marine with no help at all. Now, what do I mean by no help at all? Well, some of you might know, some of you might not. I'm colorblind, or I guess maybe the correct term is severely color deficient. And it's the kind of red-green version that a lot of people get. So I put the vote out to you guys to kind of pick a chapter that'd be really difficult for me to paint. And obviously you guys chose Howling Griffons. So usually when I paint, well, for one, I'll ask my wife for help, say, is this color right, or something like that. But also, one of the main reasons I stick with Games Workshop paints is because they have the color app, which tells you, okay, if you want a dark red, use these paints. If you want yellow, use these paints. So it's incredibly helpful for colorblind people. I don't know if this is something a lot of people think about often, but yeah, it's like as soon as I see a painting tutorial and they're like, oh, start mixing different ratios of paints to get this one, I immediately check out because it's like I'm never going to be able to get the consistency and make sure this is all right because yeah, I'm pretty bad with colors. But yeah, I'm going to stop waffling and let's just get straight into this video because it's going to be an interesting one for me. And if this video is not even intriguing enough to stay to the end, I'm also going to have a little cheeky teaser trailer to one of my next upcoming videos because I haven't done one of those in a long time, so yeah, I hope they'll be tantalizing enough for you guys, and I'll see you in a second. Right, so my first step was, well, building up a Howling Griffon. Now this video is mostly focusing on me obviously painting, but you know, my channel is built on kitbashing, so I feel like I need to do something. But firstly I had to go do a bit of research because I didn't really know that much about the Howling Griffons, but from what I kind of gathered, they're kind of like Bretonnian Space Marines, I guess. So I wanted to go for that more gothic, knighty look. So I started off with the easy to build Primaris Lieutenant. I think it came in the Indomitus box. And I just built his body pretty standard there. Didn't really change much. And the first thing I did with this dude was glue a helmet dangling off of his belt. Because one, I wanted to use a unhelmeted head so I can kind of attempt to paint skin. But I also wanted the helmet so I can paint some green lenses because there's no green on this model and green and red obviously the colors, so I chucked this helmet on there for that reason. Now for the kind of pose I was going for, I really like this Howling Griffon's artwork with the guy in the background kind of like yelling, aiming his pistol up. Well, in this case it's a bolt gun, but he's just aiming upwards and yelling, so I thought this would be a really cool kind of thing to go for. So I just got an outstretched arm holding a bolt pistol, and I had to do a little bit of carving around the kind of shoulder joint area and carving a little bit of the shoulder pad away just so I can have that angle kind of pointing up and outwards a little bit more. You know, I'd cut a little bit, dry fit, cut a little bit, dry fit until I got to a point that I liked. And as you can see here, for the left arm, I just glued on the power fist from the Assault Intercessors kit. I thought it just kind of fit the pose really well. Maybe a sword would have made more sense with that kind of Bretonnian-y vibe, but I don't know. The fist just felt good. That sounds a bit weird, but you know what I mean. And then for the head, I just wanted a bald dude yelling, so I just got this head from, I think maybe just the standard Intercessor kit. Just glued it on, nothing fancy there. But the next part, you might hate me a little bit, might set some people off, but in the Deathwatch Veterans kit, you do actually get a Howling Griffon's shoulder pad. But obviously it's meant to go on the right hand shoulder, so the logo's flipped. But obviously I'm sticking this on the left hand, so yeah, the logo for this is going to be backwards, but I don't have any decals or transfer sheets, and I'm definitely not even going to attempt to do it by freehand. So apologize for the reversed logo on these dudes. And I'm just going to skip ahead because the only thing I do now is I chucked on like 3 purity seals, and as you can see, I just gave him a pretty simple elevated base. But yeah, let's officially get into the painting. Now, for this whole thing to work, I have to hide the names of the paints because I am kind of used to what they're called and what kind of colors they go with. So I enlisted the help of my wife to help me masking tape all my paints because that would have taken me hours if I did it on my own. Well, probably just an hour. But yeah, just got a big old fat roll of masking tape and just started slowly taping over all my paints, and I hope you guys appreciate the effort this is because I'm gonna have to undo all these after this video as well. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I mean, as you guys can see here, it was a fair amount of paints. I mean, I'm not like the biggest paint collector in the world because again, I'm colorblind and I try to keep things as simple as I can. But yeah, this is a good few things I had to tape over. But yeah, let's get into the first color. And that first color is going to be red. I kind of want to jump straight into the difficult colors because I thought maybe yellow would be really easy. Spoiler alert, it kind of wasn't. But yeah, as you can see, I grabbed a few colors and I started like popping them open to see if I can recognize the color that I want. Obviously, I was trying to look for a Mephiston red. I've used that color quite a lot, so I'm hoping I can recognize it. And as you can see, I finally settled on a red, and as you can also see, I went for a white prime coat on this one because I usually go for a zenith or something, but I figured it's a very bright color, so you know, white just would be easier to do. But yeah, so I just started slapping this coat on all the places that needed to be red, because obviously these guys are a courted color scheme, so not only do I need to struggle with finding the right colors, I've also got to paint straight lines, which, you know, not the easiest thing to do. Now, after I got all the red down, obviously the next step was the yellow, but like I said, I thought this would be really easy, but I really struggled to find Avalon Sunset. I know that's kind of the base code color you need for yellow, but for some reason I just could not figure out what that color was. It's probably one of the hardest ones out of this whole thing, so it was a bit strange. But yeah, after popping loads of bottles, I eventually found one that I believe to be a very like bright saturated red. So I thought, okay, yellow, sorry. So I thought, okay, this definitely looks like yellow. Let's just go straight to the brightest yellow that I can possibly find here. And yeah, same as the red step, but obviously reversed, courted scheme and all that. So just started painting in all those bits yellow. Or so we hope. Now, a little side note here, I've not actually, even after finishing the model, now that I'm editing and all that, I've not asked anyone, not my wife or anybody, to actually look at the model and tell me if I've done the right job. I kind of want you guys to let me know in the comments below so then I can figure it out with, like, afterwards, because yeah, I've not had a single person tell me. So yeah, please let me know. Now, the next color I was going to go for was like a off-white bonish color for his tabard / loincloth thing. And again, I thought this one would be quite easy because I use these colors a lot, but I couldn't really find Xandri Dust, so I just took something that I thought was like a darker off-white bony color so that I could later try and highlight it with a lighter version. And as you can see, I got a lighter bone color, whatever, to try and highlight it, but also to see what it looks like on this other base coat to see if it matches up. And yeah, couldn't really tell, but I just kind of highlighted up some of the raised areas with this. Now the next thing I did was paint all the metallics and all that kind of stuff that I want to be silver or gold, whatever. I painted them black because painting metallics over white is terrible. And yeah, finding black hopefully was pretty easy because I mean black's black, right? So I kind of just skipped that part. But the next step was also incredibly difficult, was doing the browns, because obviously browns have a lot of red in them. It's quite difficult to tell the difference between all the different reds and browns and stuff like that for me. I mean, I could have cheated and just done all the bags and stuff black, but again, that's cheating and it kind of defeats the purpose of the video. Now I believe I'm doing these in Rhinox hide, because it's kind of the least of the reddish browns that I own, because I usually do quite a lot of reddish browns, but I hope that's correct. Now my next step was the metallics. Now, again, I didn't really show this because, well, for one, my metallics come with the white lids on top, so I kind of knew which ones were metallic, but also metallics are pretty easy, like gold and silver. I'm not that colorblind. So now I'm pretty sure I start off the silver with lead belcher, but I 100% know I did the golds with retributor gold because that's a very poppy gold. I don't know the correct term, I guess, but yeah, I just filled in both of those and we'll highlight them later with lighter versions of themselves. I might go over that. Now the next step was the parchment and the skin. Now I pretty much use Rakarth flesh for both of these all the time. I do love Rakarth flesh, so I'm thinking I should be able to get this right, especially because my pot's got like a weird kind of bitty texture to it. And yeah, after base coating all that in hopefully Rakarth flesh, it's time for another difficult one, and that's pink for the like wax on the purity seals. Now obviously I go for what I think is quite a dark pink here, just so that it contrasts against the red of the armor and stuff like that, because I usually will go for a red, but obviously I've got a lot of red on this already. And then once that was done, my next step was kind of trying to find pallid witch flesh or something along those lines to, one, highlight the purity seals, and also secondly highlight the face. Then hopefully the washes I put on later will differentiate between the two. And once I highlighted the face up with pallid witch flesh, I don't know if I'm going to really show it all that well here, but I also got something which I presumed was dawnstone and kind of mixed a bit of it into that to kind of create a glazy stubble on his head and his chin, you know, like he's just freshly shaven kind of thing. Not sure if that really comes across or not because they're kind of pinky grayish flesh, I don't really know, just kind of blended in to me, but hopefully it worked. And then speaking of washes, so what I did was I got all the washes out because they're obviously bigger bottles, so I can kind of tell which ones were the washes. I kind of got a bit on my brush and then I wiped it on some tissue just to kind of see what the color is a bit better, because when they're in the pot they just look really dark and I can't tell the difference. But for the purity seals, I'm hoping I went for Seraphim Sepia, I believe that's what it's called. It's kind of that yellowy wash to kind of get that aged paper vibe. Then obviously for the skin, I'm hoping I got Reichland Flesh Shade on top of this guy's head. As for the rest of the model, I washed the silver bits in non-oil, again hopefully non-oil, and all the gold, and also I recessed shaded the armor with Agrax Earthshade. Again, hopefully Agrax Earthshade. I don't even know why I'm saying paint names because I don't really know for sure, but that's what I was trying to go for. Now, like I said before, I did highlight up some of the metallics here and there, but I just kind of used what I presume is Stormhost Silver and went back over with Retributor Gold on the gold bit. So I'm just kind of skip that. But now back to highlighting the pink. I kind of did a similar thing I did with the yellow, whereas I couldn't really tell what would be like the next color up from the dark color I used. So I just went straight to the most pink color I could possibly find because it was just easier for me to tell, hopefully. And yeah, I just did a bit of light edge highlighting on that. Now, I'm not going to lie, highlighting the brown up was, again, incredibly difficult. I have absolutely no clue what colors I used here. They looked right to me, so yeah, I hope I did a decent job on that one. But yeah, I just kind of did like a scratchy highlight on there, which, like, maybe it was Gorthor brown. But yeah, absolutely no clue on that one. But hopefully onto an easier step. It would be quite embarrassing if I got this bit wrong. But it was highlighting the black, so obviously I went for greys. I think I used Dawnstone and Administrad Autumn Grey. But yeah, that's pretty simple. I just went over the blacks doing that. But yeah, now on to the lenses for the helmet, which I said I'm going to do green. So I grabbed a color that I presumed was a dark green. I base coated the lenses. Again, hoping that's correct. And then, same as with a lot of the colors here, I'm just going for the most saturated over-the-top version of a color because it just feels easier for me to see. Or when you get into like the darker colors, it just seems quite difficult. So for the highlight of the lenses, I grabbed what I presume is moot green, I think. I believe that's like a really, really vibrant, almost yellowish green. So yeah, I kind of dabbed that into the lenses. And yeah, I'm very curious to see if this paint job is actually any good at the end of this. So yeah, my next step was the painstaking bit of cleaning up the model. So obviously everywhere I did the recess shading and stuff. It was a bit messy, so I had to clean it all up, which on the red side, perfectly fine, easy enough. On the yellow side, it took a lot of coats and time to get it looking a little bit tidier again. Now, once the model was cleaned up, it was time to actually highlight the armor. And as you can see, I fished around a lot of pots to try and find something that was a lighter red. Again, very difficult thing to do for me. Kind of repeating myself on this thing because everything's kind of difficult to do. But yeah, eventually kind of settled on one and yeah, just did bog standard edge highlighting all over the red bits. But when it came to the yellow side of things, because I believe I did quite a bright yellow to kind of start with, I didn't know how to really highlight up or what was a lighter yellow than what I had here. So I ended up just highlighting with an off-white, something like maybe is a Screaming Skull, something like that. So yeah, I just highlighted up all the yellow with that. I personally think it looks okay, but obviously later you guys are going to tell me in the comments below if I did a decent job or not. And that's pretty much the model done. Obviously, I'm not going to go super high level painting because there's no point putting so much time into something that I don't even know if I'm using the right colors. But I did chuck a transfer on the guy at the front there just to give it some visual interest. And now it's time to do the base. And now because the base was sprayed white, I thought I might cheat a little bit here and use a black contrast paint. So that was quite easy to find in there. Again, it's just black and it was a waterier version of a black color. So I just doused the whole entire base with that. And I just dry brushed up with various grays. Obviously there's some piping in there I did in silver. And what I usually like to do once the base is all done and everything, I'll get like an Agrax Earthshade or something and just put another wash into the nooks and crannies and stuff just to give it a bit more of a shadow, a bit more variation in the basing. But no point going into it too much, it's quite a boring base to be honest. Time for a little spinny showcase so you guys can see this guy in all his completed glory and see you on the other side. And there you have him, ladies and gents, all completed. Like I said earlier in the video, let me know below, firstly what you just think of the really, light kit bashing I did, but most importantly, which colors did I get right? Does it look okay? What colors did I get wrong? And also for my fellow colorblind people out there, let me know how your experiences of the hobby and painting. Do you get people to help you? Is your colorblindness a bit better? You can just kind of do it. Do you use the Games Workshop app like I do? Are there other color brands out there that have apps as well actually? And of course guys, if you want to support this poor colorblind YouTuber out here, if you want to help the channel out, obviously please like, share, subscribe, and if you want to go that little step further to help me keep my bits box and my in this case unknown paint collection full, maybe consider joining the YouTube membership and Patreon and all that kind of stuff, because it really helps the channel out and you guys can get some nice early access to what projects I'm working on. But like I said, I'm going to leave you with a little teaser trailer here at the end for an upcoming video. But until next time guys, I really appreciate you getting this far and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.